If you had met me as a young person, you probably would have said something like, "That's the rebellion of the house. That is the difficult one." And you would have been right. I'm Marie-Louise, and welcome to Scars and Victories, the journey. In this chapter, we will be talking about what my rebellion was hiding. And in the next chapter, we will be discussing the neuroscience behind what we are uncovering today. You see, rebellion behavior is often the only thing that we see. We see the difficulty, we see the havoc, we just see all of the effects and the behavior in the person. Very seldom do we stop and ask, but why? What is the root cause? What is the hurt or the pain that is causing this reaction? And for a long time, because I didn't know any better, I believed that my rebellion was part of my personality. And in my head, it sounded something like, "You are just strong willed. You just are independent. You are stubborn. You are just honest and say what you want, when you want, how you want. And that's just how it is. And it's okay." And I was really ashamed. I feel so bad for my family and friends when in that season they had to put up with me because I really was difficult. And I was making life difficult for others and myself. You know that saying, hurt people hurt people. And that was so me. I was pushing people away. I was breaking people. I was breaking myself. I was bad at relationships. I was really just not a nice person. I I really was just sowing havoc wherever I went. And it is quite sad, but unfortunately, the things I did, I cannot take back. And I am very proud to say that I have the scars, yes, but I've had the victories over the years. And that is a big thing, is to walk away with the victories, because we will uncover soon why I was this awful person. And in this time of my life, it felt like I was really just, it felt like destructive destructiveness was common ground for me. It felt like making the wrong choices, saying the wrong things, being involved with the wrong people, and just actually just the whole package of it was bad for me. And I was struggling with the package. I remember crying myself to sleep very often in that time of my life, although that's happened quite a lot in my life, but in that time of my life, it happened quite often. Crying myself to sleep because I just couldn't understand. Why am I this difficult? Why am I this awful person? Why do I say these hurtful things? Why do I not stop before making a decision and think through the consequences that I will have to be carrying? And I remember mm, I remember taking this to God, and I was like, my sister and I, we are growing up in the exact same house. And she is the complete opposite. She is kind and she is soft and she's got a guard in front of her mouth and she doesn't get angry over everything. And when she does get angry, she handles it quite well. And she's just so peaceful and placid. And I just wanted to be that, because then I looked at myself and I was like thunder and lightning coming in with so much force, and I just and it was the complete opposite, and I just couldn't understand it, and I really wanted to be different. And then I'd say, okay, I am going to be better. Tomorrow I am going to put a God in front of my mouth. I am not just going to say things. I am not going to be this awful person. And before I know it, I would have said something to someone that was hurtful again, or in a hurtful tone. And then I would just feel defeated all over again. You see, the things that I was feeling was things like, you don't know what is best for me. Only I know what is best for me. And only I can make my decisions. You will not make my decisions for me. You will not control me. I had so much anger where I don't know where that came from. I and I was struggling with that. And I even was struggling with, and this is a big one, because I was struggling with authority. And because of that, I would like deliberately go and do the complete opposite of what you have told me to do. And normally that wouldn't end well for me. And that would make my package to carry even heavier. And so I was making decisions quite quickly and then had to bear the consequences, because let's face it, at the age of 14 to 18, making big life decisions is actually just not a good idea. And I had to carry those because I was making these big decisions when in actual fact I was supposed to still just be a child. And I remember the guilt, the shame, and the regret that was following me because of these decisions that I was making, like instantly without thinking what the consequences would be. They were haunting me. They were following me. And I went to Jesus and I just said, at this time, I didn't know him very well. And I just went to him and I said, if this is what life is going to be like for the rest of my life, I don't want it. I don't want to be this person. I don't want to be awful. I don't want to be someone that is is not nice. I don't want to be someone making the wrong decisions all the time. I don't want to have to carry all these things that I now have to carry, the shame, guilt, and regret because I cannot get to a place of making good decisions. So I was in this constant loop with God because I, I really didn't know how to get out of it. And I wasn't understanding why I kept going back to this behavior and behaving this certain way that was making my life and other people's lives difficult. So I was really trying to find out how to get out of this. And I think it took me a very long while to really get out of it, but slowly but surely, certain things started to change. And I could get to a place of implementing small things and going to Jesus and saying, I really want to be better. And I know I'm not, you didn't make me to be someone that is hurtful and rude and disrespectful. And I know you've got wisdom. So give me some wisdom. Help me, lead me, guide me, show me. And years later, when I uncovered why I was being a rebellion, it really took so much weight off of my shoulders. Although I couldn't go back and change the things I did and said and the people that I hurt, I could make peace with a lot of it. And I could lay it at the feet of Jesus and I could forgive myself and set myself free from it and not keep carrying that heavy load of those things that I did that I knew was wrong. I also think, in a big way, that during this season and the difficulty that I put myself through, the fact that I am someone that really loves to grow and loves to change and loves to chase a better me, I really think that that was born in that season because I didn't want to sit with this, because I didn't want to be this awful person, this not nice person, this making the wrong choices and making things difficult for other people and ruining my relationships and just always actually being unhappy. I wanted better because I believed that God had something better for me. So I went on this journey trying to find this better and trying to change little by little. And some days I could get it right, and other days I couldn't get it right. And then later on, when I realized through neuroscience that I was only trying to protect myself in this season, it was like a weight lifted off of my shoulders. Wow, I am not an awful person. I am I am not this person that wants to hurt others, that wants to do bad in life. This is not my personality. This is not something that I need to carry. And that was huge. That was really huge. By that time, I had already started to change quite a lot, and I really made progress within it. But that moment, realizing that and uncovering that I was only trying to protect myself was huge. I think in the spirit and in the flesh, that set me free on so many levels. And I'm so thankful for that, knowing that it's not my personality to be awful, and I can be vulnerable. I can listen to other people. It's okay to submit under authority. It's actually what the Bible says we need to do. So all of these things then slowly but surely started to surface and make their way into my life. And it really changed me because what was happening as a young person, that I didn't understand what was beneath the behavior. I i thought I did, because I thought it was a part of my personality, but the big realization in that time when I started to change was that I was fighting something within myself and not fighting against everyone around me. And that is something that God had shown me little bit by little bit, that the things that I am fighting, the wanting to always be right, things always need to go my way, you don't know what is best for me, saying awful things, and so not having a guard in front of my mouth, just making decisions quickly, easily, without thinking about the consequences. All of those had more to do with what was going on inside of me compared to what I was feeling. It was more about the people around me. They weren't the enemy. The problem was inside. And I had to deep dive and really go dig and really go look to see how I can become a better person. So I would love to know what stood out for you during this conversation. I would love to know if you carry a lot of guilt, shame, and regret because of the person that you used to be or the person that you are currently. And and I want to encourage you to tell you that it's not your personality. It is not the person that you have to be. If you go and deep dive and have a look at yourself on the inside, and ask God, tell him, this is what I'm sitting with. This is what I'm struggling with. I've got this anger that I don't know where it's come from, but please help me with this. He's faithful. He will help you. So, in our next chapter, we will be talking about the neuroscience behind the fact that my brain was trying to protect me. And then I want to encourage you by just saying, look after yourself. Just be in the here and the now, and be kind to yourself in this process. Till next time, keep walking, keep growing, keep becoming. I'll see you on our next step in our next chapter.